You're watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.
It looks like I've been crying. I haven't. I just had a yawn. But a yawn before you do something doesn't mean you aren't excited. It means your body's trying to get more oxygen. EJ Hradek, Dan O'Toole.
There you go.
See, you can draw positive out of just about anything. Trying to find the positive in it.
Just looking for a little oxygen. That's it.
That's right. The Leafs, they don't need any oxygen. They go to Alberta, and it's just the shot they needed. They go in there, they beat the Oilers. They go in there, they beat the Flames.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have all their fans. They apparently packed them up and took them all the way out to Alberta. I mean, it's just a reminder that there are again, you're in Canada, Dan. I am not, but it's a reminder to me that there's so many Leaf fans throughout the country and obviously in Western Canada as well, because they filled, they took over in Edmonton and they took over in Calgary. And I think that team probably did give the team a little bit of a boost, and getting to go out there and obviously playing McDavid and company in the first one after they'd been on a little slide, woke them up a little bit. So they played really good in these couple of games. We'll see how they do when they play in Seattle. I don't know if it'll be as raucous a crowd in Seattle, but then they got Vancouver to finish out before the break.
Speaking of Calgary, I was talking to a Flames fan, and he said half jokingly, we love when the Leafs come to town because that's how we pay for our season tickets. I don't think they resell their tickets to Leafs fans by that much of a markup.
No. Yeah.
But it's significant. And whenever I see games at the Saddle Dome, first off, I love that the Saddle Dome's still there.
Yeah. Nice.
And secondly, if you've never seen a game played there, attend a game at the Saddle Dome, because if you're in the lower bowl, it feels like you're on the ice.
Yeah, yeah. And if the Flames score and that flame shoots out, you feel like you have a third-degree burn without having one for at least a second or two. It's just like this quick second. You feel like, wow. And then thankfully it stops. So.
And then you can, while you sit in the lower bowl, you can say to yourself, wow, these seats have been underwater at least twice.
At least twice. And they've cleaned them up really well.
Sure.
And you can kind of peek up and look at a scared media member walking across the catwalk, which is just a little, it's a little fence that you walk on across the open area. So
yeah,
that's
right.
If you have a fear of height, it's a little bit disturbing.
And they used to have the same kind of walkway at the Oilers' old arena, Rexall, Sky Reach, or whatever you want to call
whatever
it.
Whatever they called it. I called it Northlands Coliseum for many years.
Northlands Coliseum, yeah.
And then I called it Rexall. I don't know what else it's been called, but
yeah, it had Sky Reach in there.
They had the same one, huh? I only thought that was unique to Calgary.
Oh no, it was a terrifying experience going up. You had to walk over the crowd. The old walk over the crowd is never fun, and looking through the slats down to them, saying,
you can't look down. You can't look down. You have to look straight ahead. When you look down, you're frozen in fear.
Well, the Leafs aren't frozen in fear.
No.
Maybe what they needed, because remember Willie Nylander said they were on a little skid. He said, there's nothing to worry about here. Maybe all they needed was the Ottawa Senators to get within 2 points of them. And then everyone in the league saying, it's not a joke that the Sens are about to catch the Leafs, but I think they see that as a negative thing. They're like, well, we can't be caught by the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
We can't get caught by these guys.
No.
Does that enter their brains?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's been a weird January into February. They've had 4-game winning streak, 3-game losing streak, 3-game winning streak, 3-game. I mean, it's been up and down. They've been navigating with, basically with the one goalie, really, with Joseph Wall. They had a stretch where they had a nice schedule. They didn't have many games, but they ended up having a losing streak during that stretch. So I just, they had guys out of the lineup. Now they've got them back. I mean, the good news was Nyes and Tavares came back in. Unfortunately, Marner was out now. Everything, of course, in the world we live in now with athletes is extremely vague, and we don't know exactly what's wrong with him. They're saying it's not that serious. I guess we're going to find out if he continues to be out of the lineup. But, I thought they were just, they had a good start. They put themselves in a good position. They're navigating the middle of a long season, and I think to your point, we talked about it earlier, going out west where they're playing McDavid, playing Draisaitl Saturday night, big crowd there and kind of crazy crowd with obviously a lot of Leafs fans there, and then kind of a similar situation in Calgary. I think that just energizes you over the course of an endless, 6 or 7 month campaign where you're home and then you're bouncing around on the road, and the games are important, but not everybody is in the same place on the same day all the time, in terms of where they're at physically and mentally. So, I think they've just navigated it pretty well, and now they're at a point, they see the break for some of them, and they're trying to make a push on a 4-game road trip, which is a little bit of a piece of this season. So they've responded to it well.
The best part about the Leafs arriving in Edmonton is we get to see the human side of Connor McDavid. As Connor, some sly comments.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm glad we got to change the start time of our game because when the Leafs come to town, pretty much the rules go out the window.
We got to kowtow to the Leafs. But I still remember when Connor McDavid at the lottery, when it was Buffalo and Edmonton, and he's a young guy, and most young guys aren't itching to let me go across the country. I could be nearby where I grew up. And the look on his face was not happy that day. He went to Edmonton. I think he's settled in over now these last 10 years to being in Edmonton and playing there. But, now it's funny. He's on the other end of it. Oh, yeah, the Leafs come to town and we got to change the time. And, come on. Hey, listen, you're right. It's nice to see a little piece of, Connor McDavid's actual real personality as opposed to just the usual stuff we see from all these guys.
So Buffalo, what you're saying is they wake up a lot and say, what if?
Well, they would have just traded. They would have traded Connor. Come on. They would have had a falling out with somebody and it would have been traded to a team that eventually would have won the Stanley Cup. It would have been better for Connor. He would have a Stanley Cup by now. He would have been traded to somewhere and they would have won. So, Buffalo can't help themselves sometimes, although they have won 4 in a row.
Hey, are they still last? I haven't checked the standings.
Hey, yes, they're still last for today.
Okay. Hey, have they announced, are there any penalties for guys who were supposed to be in the 4 nations and who aren't going to play, or can they just skip it at will?
I don't think there are any penalties for that. I think because this is an NHLPA event where there's financial gain for everybody, I think most of these guys want to participate, and a lot of especially the younger guys, or being guys that have come up in the last decade, they want to be part of this whole thing, and they with an eye on being on their Olympic teams, which is also part of this. And so, we know Pietrangelo has been out, and he was the one that just was like, well, I've been dealing with things. I'm playing, but I'm dealing with injury, and so I'm going to take the time off. Alex has been a part of winning at every possible level, and he's played in these international games. He's been in an Olympic team. He's been on a World Cup team. So, it's to my understanding, there's no penalty for guys not doing it, but I just don't think we have a lot of them because a lot of these guys want to participate in this. The only problem is Finland just keeps losing guys on defense. There's only 11 Finnish defensemen in the National Hockey League to begin with, and you could only draw from the NHL teams, and I believe if they get to an issue, they might be able to draw from the American Hockey League. But, it's going to get tricky if they keep losing defensemen back there. Particularly, they lost Miro Heiskanen, who was by far their best defenseman. So, that's going to be, I guess, problematic for Finland. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, not to my knowledge, there's no issue with that. And there hasn't been a necessity for it because Pietrangelo has really been the only one in that situation.
A debate arose this week online when the pending trade war between the United States and Canada, the made-up trade war that we were all buddies a week ago. Now people are picking fights with Canadians online. Canadians are picking fights with Americans. I'm like, guys, remember we were friends a week ago. So
love Canada.
The anthem got booed at a Raptors game. The anthem got booed at a Canucks game. So people put it out there. They said, is it time we take out the anthems before the games? Because, they aren't really needed Is this a debate that will only ever occur online? Is that something that will ever happen in sports, or is it so ingrained that it's there to stay?
I don't think it will ever happen in sports because I think the powers that be, particularly in the United States, you see during the games now, and it's a nice moment. They honor like a military member during the game. You see that. And I mean, I believe that is a program that runs through the U.S. government, and I don't know all the details of it, but the bottom line is this is an event where people come together, and I think they like the idea of having that patriotic moment, or, when a group of citizens are together to have that moment. So I don't get the sense that it's going to change. Now, for me, as someone who's covered sports for a long, long time and seen that play out thousands of times in my life, if it didn't happen again, I wouldn't be, upset about it because, we're there to cover the game. But that said, it's not an awful thing. And, I don't think it's going to change. It is unfortunate that we are now living in a moment where, we have been really, I think, in the United States, blessed to have a great neighbor like Canada that's been with us through thick and thin over many years. It's unfortunate that we're in a situation we're in for the moment. So hopefully it doesn't become more of an issue. But I don't think, Dan, it's going away anytime soon. Do you get a sense that might happen? You've been covering sports a long time as well.
No chance. I don't think it'll ever happen because it's just visually the TV audience likes to see it. Yeah. It's a great pause before the game. It's so ingrained. And fun fact, EJ, when at an event in Canada, a sporting event in Canada, when the crowd sings along to O Canada, or even when no one's singing along to O Canada, I cannot sing one word out loud because I will start to cry every single time.
Wow.
I can't do it. I get so emotional seeing the flags and the crowd singing along that I can't sing one word out loud or I will be a puddle.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep that in mind if we ever go to a game. I'm standing there next to you. I may start singing to see if it has any influence on you.
It won't. You won't. It's all personal. Same with Billy Joel. If I sing a Billy Joel song out loud, I start to cry.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Piano
Billy Joel.
Man, get you.
No, not piano. Piano Man is one of my least favorite Billy Joel songs. It is. I think it's a very overrated song.
Yeah. How about Vienna? I mean,
Vienna is great.
It waits for you. It does.
We will actually, my daughters and I, my two older daughters, will be attending Billy Joel in Toronto in the Bet River Suite, and it will be their first ever concert. So I said to them, girls, there will be a dinner conversation. You'll have conversations at a party. It always goes around. What was your first concert? And they get to say, Billy effing Joel.
There you go. That's a good one. I'm going to take us even further off the rails here because I will just say to you, the other night, for whatever reason, I was in one of those bars that have like dueling pianos.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen them where guys are playing back and forth. Like, those bars were made for Billy Joel because they must have played like 12 Billy Joel songs, and they're taking, money to play the songs and the whole thing and requests. And there was a whole bunch of Billy Joel songs, and most of the words. Yeah. And I have to say, even though you don't really like Piano Man, in that setting, when everyone knows the words, it's quite good.
Oh, yeah. I'm fine with it. But if it comes on the radio, I'm not like that. I'm not jumping around. So
listen, I'm a big Springsteen fan, and when Born to Run comes on, I've heard it a million times. It doesn't, it's nice, but I've heard it a bunch. Anyway,
someone was actually discussing the most overrated songs of all time, and Born in the USA was on there, and I'm like, I'm a Springsteen fan. I'm like, I don't disagree.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Born in the USA, but like all the songs, if you hear them too many times, sometimes it's too much. So,
also made for dueling pianos, Elton John. I bet you heard a lot of Elton John.
Yeah, there was Elton John in there. There was some Elton John, a little Crocodile Rock, a little, all kinds
One
of
of
things.
his most despised songs. He does not like playing that song.
I like the word. One of his most despised songs.
Yes, he has said that.
Well,
okay, well, we'll leave on this. So we got into this because the anthem's being booed. And then one day later, the Florida Panthers were at the White House and everyone dressed up as the president.
Yeah, that was nice. It was like Halloween put together with a White House visit where everybody was in costume.
Yeah. Was there any
owner-
controversy about them going? Because usually people are saying, oh, they shouldn't attend because Trump's there. Was there controversy this time?
There was no controversy at all because the owner, Vinny Viola, was up to be I think it was the Secretary of the Army during the first Trump administration.
Okay.
And he backed out for, I think, family issues at the time. And I've met Vinny Viola. He's a really nice man, and he loves his team. His wife really loves the Panthers. They've done an unbelievable job down there in Florida. I guess we could all disagree, on politics. I mean, unfortunately, now it turns into a nasty fight. It's kind of a crazy world we live in now. But the bottom line is, I wasn't surprised at all, that the team would be there on their, doing their thing, and they were all dressed up the same. It was kind of cute, I guess. If I didn't know if they brought the bags and were looking for like little, maybe a Kit Kat or a bag of M&Ms or something. But anyway, there really wasn't much discussion about it. Really, I mean, I guess these things are going to go on, and people who disagree, athletes that have disagreements or ownership groups that have disagreements may or may not go. But I didn't think there was going to be. I didn't ever think there was going to be any issue here. In fact, they probably waited to have this. Now the schedule worked out. They played the Capitals last night, but they probably waited till it was this situation because there is a friendship there between the owner and the current president.
And when there's so much chaos going on, a lot of these things no one has the brain capacity to care. Care or not care. They're just like, whatever.
There are so many things going on right now. I mean, I just want to be happy with Canada where we had that good. I just want that to be intact. That's all. The other stuff we'll figure out. But that to me was I just shook my head. I mean, it never even entered my mind.
Yeah.
We would have an issue.
You know how you survive through all this, EJ? You turn the give a fuck meter down to zero.
Zero.
You crank it to zero, and life gets a lot easier. EJ, thanks for this.
You also realize, by the way, too, that as time goes on, we have less of it. So
yes. Yes.
All right.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.